Welcome to Trading Lounge and the US tech stocks. I'm starting with the NASDAQ here on the monthly chart, and I just want to give this a little bit of consideration. So, back in the early 90s in the tech move to the upside and the top and the move back here. This move back here, if we take it to sort of roughly from here, it's on log scale, but it's pulled down 78.6%. So basically we'd have to look at this as wave 1 and wave 2 here, and this is on a log scale here for this. Okay, so there's no real other way to count that. And then when we take a look at the extension process in Elliott Wave to look at the next move to the upside here, we would take the length of this first leg here, let's just call it wave 1, just to keep it sort of simple at this point, and we'll take the length of wave 1 and then we'd push this up to this point here and look at the 60, add 61.8% to it. So that would bring us up into the up into roughly the 50,000 area here. Now, obviously, there's other extensions that can take us sort of much higher, but it just gives you a bit of an idea of the scale of things at the moment, because we're working. The market's being pulled around by new technology, and new technology always ends up sort of winning the race, and those AI stocks are pulling us higher. And also too, Bitcoin, and the whole blockchain is another layer of new technology as well that will take us into the new world, and those that change will go with it, and those that don't won't, and it's as simple as that. But I just wanted to sort of get to have a look at the scale of how far we've got to go up within reason. You know what I mean? It's like this is just a very sort of reasonable assumption. I don't like to take it too far past the next step, but we can certainly see it's growing to the upside, and we know the AI stocks are taking us to the upside. So when we're looking at those AI stocks, we can look at this move to the upside here as still because when a market's moving up higher, most folks are thinking that, and I know it's not easy, I've got my own issues, but we think that it's toppy and they're overvalued and there's this and that, and but I can pretty much say from an Elliott Wave point of view that this has still got a long way to go, and the process that we need to be working out Elliott Wave structures through all of this is not looking for a top, but building the process to the upside and trading with the trend. And I know that takes a bit of intestinal fortitude and getting around our own mind, and that's what trading really is. It's a game against ourselves, of what we think. Yeah, I'm in the mindset that we need to continue to build, do a building process, to the upside, and not look for a top in that case. Okay, we can talk more about this in the indices video, but I just wanted to sort of take a just to stand back. It's Monday, and look to the upside. So when we left on Friday and so on, we looked at just coming into 20,000 ticks now. So looking at this process, we know that 18,000 should hold the market a little bit, but it's not going to stop the trend from moving to the upside. So we can pretty much look at group 1 above and group 2 below here as the swing range here. So what I also do as well is that I will put just want to talk about the trades for a second in this situation. So what I've sort of thinking about, and I've mentioned it before, and I've been getting feedback, and thanks for that, is that we will put stocks, we'll put indice ETF, so the triple Q and the SPY, the SPY. I will put those trades into into our portfolios and trade recommendations. Okay, but I don't want to give out trades because I don't want to give out trades that would look, on the NASDAQ and here on the futures market as such. Two reasons is that our TradingLounge client base is like most companies, sort of global, and the folks in the US, they trade the mini futures contracts, and outside of the US, folks are trading contracts for different CFDs. Those sorts of things, and all the trades that we're putting on here are really quite sort of short term, so I'll just be looking at all, when we do trades for this is just the S&P here, but just as an example, this is a CFD product, so it's made up of the cash and the futures market and a thing called fair value. So I will just keep looking for trades here, as I sort of normally do, with our little setup to get from, the little setup from here to get to here, get out. We'll look for the next one and move up and so on. Just wanted to talk about those trades anyway. This particular market here, we know 5,000 is obviously a huge number, but the wave structure here is suggesting that we need to also move higher as well. And as I always say, if Friday closes strong, then it's highly likely that Monday will follow in that momentum to the upside. So we'll still see the S&P climb higher for the short term. Okay, so enough waffling, and then we come over to Apple here, and this, this is just a 2-day chart here, and I got to kind of take, obviously the 200 is a bit of a glass ceiling here, and just after I, spoke about the NASDAQ, that we need to look at more of a building process to the upside, rather than calling tops in. Now, obviously, we've got a bit of a glass ceiling here. What's the best way to count this here? We could look at it in a couple of different ways. Like I said, I could look for a top and put wave 5 here. That would make sense in that case. We're also working on we're also working on a on an algorithm as well for TradingLounge. So if I just put in Apple here for a moment, it will just give us a logical sort of start here. I guess from this point here, it'll just give us a logical. It'll give us many counts, but what I'm saying here is that it'll give us 1, 2 here, 3, 4, 5 here, in this case. But there are a whole lot of other counts that can play out within this as well. This is just looking for the count within this section here, if you're wanting, because we can also, there is a count where we can put this as wave 1 up here as well, and then back for wave 2, then 1 and 2. So we need to kind of talk about that as well here. So there's different ways to count. So I could put wave 5 here, just like the algo sort of mentioned, or we could put wave 5 up here and look at this as 1 and 2 here, and then 3, 4, 5. That would be okay at that point there as well. We can also look at this as wave 1 here as well. So 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 building to the upside. And that's pretty much how we're looking at Amazon and those sorts of markets as well. So we can look at, I don't know where I've put the counts and so on. Where are we? 1 week here. So we could look at it, we could look at it like this too, 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 here as well. But we can also put this here. There's a variety of ways to count this. This is that's all I'm sort of saying at this point. So anyway, we're just working with this little piece in here. So I'm just going to go to the 1000 tick area here and and look at this as where we've been sort of working with it. And, you know, I just wanted to say that because we could look at this top here, you know, as wave 1 or wave 5 or a larger wave 1. We could look at it, you know, as intermediate wave 1 as well. But I've been working through it as an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave here for wave 2, and waiting to see if it can push up. This is the little pocket for the resistance, obviously the 190, always gravitate to the closest largest number. We can get a 5-wave structure up here. It does appear, as we noted last week, that this little structure here appears to be corrective here as a little A wave, and then an A, B, and C for the B wave, and down for the C wave. I don't have 5 waves up here yet. I mean, I could look at this as also a B wave here as well, and then come down for a C wave here as well. So I don't really have what I need for a setup to move long yet. We could look for a classic trading levels pattern across that level here, the 190, you know, but we still need that first high above the level in terms of the process of getting that trade set up here. So we don't really have that nice first layer up here. So there's different ways to view this structure here. So I can't do much with it at the moment. It's likely to sort of push up. It's likely to do this and then give us an ABC pattern here and then sort of build up there. But I don't know that yet, you know what I mean? I haven't got enough boxes ticked to say that's going to be the case at this point, you know. So Amazon here, this is just a daily chart looking at this in terms of a much, you know, bigger bullish picture. As I mentioned before, we need to take this top out over here. So I don't really have any problems in looking at the markets in a very bullish way, and I'll do that until proven otherwise, you know. So we just need to surf the wave and not be fearful, and just continue with it to the upside, and just sort of navigate price points and those sorts of things. But yeah, so in this case here, we've got wave 1 here and 2 here, and 1 and 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the third wave, 4th and 5th. So we'll be heading up to you know, the 200, where we can expect the market to, you know, stick there for a little while things get sorted out. Yeah, and intraday here, that could be counted a little bit differently as well. So we'll just go to the, I'll better move along a little bit. So we're looking at 1 and 2 here, 1 and 2 here, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 up here for the third, fourth. The 180 will give us a bit of a hard time, but we should continue to the upside there as well. Yeah, pretty happy with that count. I can see it can be counted in another way, in 2 ways actually, but we'll stay with this for the time being. I mean, this could just be wave 1 here as well. This one is longer than wave 1 here in terms of distance, you know. Time consuming it was more, but so we could view that as wave 1 and 2. So I'm aware of that as well. So, but either way, we should be heading to the upside. Now, we do have some trades in this, which I do need to gravitate them to the portfolio as well. So 100. So well, I think we had a couple in here somewhere, but we talked about keeping the stop under the 165. I'll get better at putting the trades into the portfolio. I just it's getting the website sort of ready, and you know, we've got more analysts coming on, and there's lots of stuff going on, yeah, it can just sort of take your mind off the job a little bit, but I'll get there. So just be a bit patient with me. So we talked about taking part profit here at the 180. You can do that if you like, but I think that we need to be sort of up here for that. So I don't think we really need to do that here at this point, but we will need to leave the stop out of the way, because this could also get up here somewhere, could get tested back. This one in the green here could get tested. So you can take part profit off here if you wish, but yeah, we will still be pushing up a little bit. Should be cruising along through this without too much problem. I mean, this top here, that's probably about where we could look at it coming back down into at max, you know. because there's other ways to count this as well. So, you know, got this as wave 1 here. I could also push this as wave 1 here as well. So there's a few different things here, but yeah, if you're nervous, then that's okay to take that at 180. And meta platforms. So this is also quite a building process here. This is on 1000 ticks, and yeah, there's nothing but upside here. Obviously, you know, like the number 5 at the 5,000 for the S&P, we'll see this stick around here for a little bit as well. There's two things here. We do have trade in here as well. Now, yeah, it's quite possible for this to have a little spike down here. So we're going to, I'm not going to get sort of flicked out of this. So we're going to move the stop from here down to here in this case. Well, it's not a big drop, but it may not be the case. This could just push up from here. But I've got a little tiny structure in here that's sort of bugging me a little bit. It's bugging me enough that, you know, I understand that we could also use this as 5 waves down here. So an A wave, an A, B, C for the B wave, and down here for the C wave, and then move up at that point. If it takes the top out here, then new traders, new positions could be opened and exited at that point there. So let's just go in and have a quick look at that. So yeah, I don't know if we've got, must have taken those positions, but you had the stop here. I'm bringing it down to here, so 432 basically at this point. Because the thing here is that this could be viewed as 5 waves down. I get that. And secondly, you know, we had that nice impulse wave to the upside, and it took us to the 50-60%. So that normally tells me that if I get 5 waves to the 50-60%, that means I need to go back and check this here, and then we need to look bullish at this point. And you know, most of the other markets are bullish. So I looked at this as a little wave 1 up here, and that's cool. But then this should have been the ABC pattern to this little point here. So I don't particularly want to see that breached. I haven't looked at the after market. I don't really have 5 waves up here as well. So I'm not quite getting what I really wanted to see here. So that means that this move up here could be an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave here to make a B wave here. And that means that we have to work lower here with 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and work, you know, work lower down here for this. So we'll just see. We'll give it a bit of time. It's sitting in group 2, which is 465. So I can remove that. I don't even need that. So it's sitting in group 2 here, 65, 72, and 80. So it's okay for the time being. We'll just see how it plays out a little bit, but just a bit of tweaking there. And then we come over to the fastest horse in the race, probably Nvidia. And what you can see here from this point is you can see that we've got 1 and 2 and 1 and 2. That's pretty clear. So then it leaves us in this wave 3 here. There's 2 different ways I can see to be counting this here, but I see this at 800, and I certainly see it at 1000 without too much problems, you know. And obviously it's got its earnings on the 21st of this month, so you know, it's going to continue to climb to the upside. So you could trade it long. We could even put a trade out and trade it up to the 800. There's certainly, you know, there's, even though this is the 3rd wave and we're probably sort of a bit late into it at this point, but we haven't seen any of these wave 4s yet. You know, these ones sticking out here. We haven't seen any of these wave 4s here. So there's still a series of 4s and 5s to go to the upside. So if you don't have much going on, this would be fine to move into. So it's going to move into, yeah, so this little move here, counting this in here, can be counted in different ways, you know. So that's, I think I've taken the most conservative wave count, which is what I do to start with. So 1 and 2 in blue here, and looking for blue wave 3 up at up at, you know, closer to the 800 at that point, and looking at this here as 1 and 2, and I won't go into all of this, but 3 and 4 here, and then 1 and 2 here. And then we can also view this here. This is also a little 5 waves here, so we can view this as 1 and 2 in here as well. So continuing to move to the upside. So if you want to be safe, we'll just need to leave the stop, you know, under here somewhere. Not so much under this one, but somewhere down here. Okay, so under the 670, don't put it at whole numbers. And yeah, so that should be all right to the upside. And also with Netflix here, so the move from the, I won't go into the, it had its earnings and, you know, it gapped up and yada yada yada, and the move coming down here appears to be corrective. Now we had an entry here, and I'm just going to move that entry, move it down to the next one here, and I think I've updated that on the portfolio, on the trade recommendation. So if it gets clicked in, that's fine. If it continues to drop here, then we'll continue to track it down and grab it once it pops up at that point. Yeah, so probably not the best looking trade out there, but it does have a nice correction now, so we'll see how that how it plays out. We'll just keep sort of edging our way into that. And yeah, nothing, not a fantastic trade, but once again, it will just follow to the upside. And we'll look for that trade at 600. And then we come over to Alphabet. I don't need to go into the bigger picture. We've been looking at this as 1 and 2 here, and we'll be looking at this as 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 5 up here. So this up here will become wave 1 and wave 2. So this is where I thought we could move into this market next, is on this wave 2 here, because we're kind of halfway through the process with this now. So I haven't pulled that little trend apart there, so don't pay any attention to this. I hope I can't give you wave 3 top just yet, but we will be moving up a little bit further. But I'm thinking, you know, somewhere up here and here, and then we'll have this, and then we'll have the pullback here. So this pullback here will be some sort of ABC pattern that will be coming across the top here, and then we can just build in over this side, you know, in many different ways. You could go long here if you wanted to, but you'd just be going into a top. But it's still, you know, this trend is not, this trend up here is just not finished yet. So you can get a bit higher. You could ride that out as well if you wanted to, you know. But I'll just be patient and wait for this over here and look, you know. And it may not even pull back this far. I'm just giving the logical sort of, you know, the top and some type of, you know, reasonable correction to rebalance things out. But it may just come back to the 150 and move up. So if you like that stock, they should be moving along much further in the AI situation. I don't really know what where their space is at this point, but got to pull their finger out a bit. Microsoft, so I won't go into the bigger picture. We're at 400. We've got an entry here, got a stop here, and this still needs to continue to climb up here. So it's just moving along steadily, so I don't need to do much with this at all. And yeah, I mean, one of the main things here is the 400 was critical, and 1, 2 and 3. So getting support on the 30 here will separate the market being pulled back to the 400. So a classic trading levels pattern on that 430 like this is what we need. And once that's done, that's going to set the target to the 450 and then continuing up to 500 at that point. So that will be where I was thinking about taking money off the table at the 430. We're not going to do that. We're just going to stay with this trend, and we'll go up to the 500. I'll need to put this into the portfolio as well so we can manage the stops a little bit clearer. So like I said, I'll sort of do my best to sort of move into that space. And this is Tesla here. So in the bigger picture, we talked about once the 200 here gives us this pattern here, so we want the arrival, the reaction, the first high above the level, some sort of ABC pattern. We can go along above the top, and then we can go down to here and here. So basically this is what I'm doing here. So this looks impulsive up here, a bit like the other market. So it may be that we're finished here. I thought that this might just be some sort of ABC pattern here and coming down, and that may be the case, but once we've got that first high above the level, then we'll be looking at that. So there'll be the arrival, the reaction, the first high above the level, some sort of ABC pattern over here. We can go at this point, you know, so we can drop it down from the top and so on. And then if the market proves to us it's strong and takes us up there, then we'll just go with it and put a stop under here, and away we go. So, you know, it's you know, it's sort of due to go. So we'll see. There's, yeah, this is all impulsive structure here. So there will be more of that coming into play. So we'll just wait for it to play out, and I'll spend a bit of time on this a bit later. But yeah, let's just see if we get that first impulse wave complete, and then the correction, and that will be our setup to move into this market. And what we'll also do as well, we can move in on, we'll be adding at 10, 20, and 30, and of course 50 here as well at that point. So we should be seeing this market, just looking at group 2 here, that's good enough, 65, 72, and 80. So yeah, we'll end up building up through here, and we'll try to, we may even get a small position under here if the impulse wave structure here is looking good. Alrighty, I'm going to leave it all at that. I think that's it. Yeah, that's just Bitcoin, not just Bitcoin, that is Bitcoin. Okay, alrighty, thanks for tuning in. Cheers.